Those who don't know Shakespeare don't know literature. This phrase speaks volumes about the achievements of this global icon in history. But did you know that the life and work of one of the greatest writers in history could be a big lie? And what if William Shakespeare never actually existed? These are just some of the intriguing questions I'll be addressing in this video. I invite you to join me on a journey to unravel the mysteries of Shakespeare and discover his incredible contribution to literature and world culture. So I recommend that you watch until the end so you don't miss a thing. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. His family belonged to the middle class, and he grew up in a quiet little town. At the age of 18, he married Anne Hathaway, and together they had 3 children. After some time, he moved to London, where he became an actor and playwright. From then on, Shakespeare became one of the most important members of Lord Chamberlain's Men, later known as the King's Men, a renowned theater company. His plays, which appealed to both the nobility and the common people, became highly popular and acclaimed, making him well known throughout England. William Shakespeare wrote approximately 38 plays, along with poems and sonnets. Some of his most well-known works include Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, King Lear, and The Tempest. William Shakespeare passed away in his hometown on April 23, 1616. However, the question of Shakespeare's authorship has been debated for centuries. One of the earliest to question the authorship was the American writer Mark Twain, who, in 1909, shortly before his death, published a book arguing that the works were actually written by someone else. Mark Twain, one of the most renowned writers of the 19th century in the United States, published a book titled Is Shakespeare Dead?, in which he questioned the authorship of the works attributed to William Shakespeare. Twain argued that the works were too sophisticated to have been written by someone with the education and life experience believed to be possessed by Shakespeare. Instead, he proposed that Francis Bacon, an English philosopher and essayist from the 17th century, was the true author behind the works. Twain was not the first to raise doubts about Shakespeare's authorship, but his work was one of the most influential in popularizing the theory that other personalities of the time may have written the plays. Mark Twain didn't believe Shakespeare was the author of the works attributed to him, and I can't believe you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Every week, I bring you interesting videos about facts and personalities from human history, so click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to never miss any content again. Another widely spread theory is that Shakespeare was merely a contracted actor to perform the plays, and the true author was the Earl of Oxford, Edward de Vere. The theory gained momentum in 1920 with the publication of the book Shakespeare Identified by John Thomas Looney, an English professor and writer who argued that Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, was the true author of Shakespeare's works. Another name often associated with theories about the authorship of Shakespeare's works is the playwright Christopher Marlowe, who was assassinated in 1593, before the publication of Shakespeare's major works. Some believe that Marlowe staged his own death to continue writing plays under the pseudonym of Shakespeare. If there is enough evidence to support this theory, we can say that William Shakespeare never existed. One of the most controversial theories about the authorship of William Shakespeare's works is that Queen Elizabeth I of England was actually the true author of the plays. This theory is known as the Queen Shakespeare theory. According to this theory, Queen Elizabeth I would have written the plays under the pseudonym William Shakespeare because women were not welcome in the world of arts and literature at that time. Even as the queen, her literary adventures could displease her subjects and bring instability to her reign. Furthermore, Queen Elizabeth I is said to have received an excellent education and was known for her intelligence and literary abilities. Supporters of this theory argue that Shakespeare's plays contain many elements that could have been written only by someone with a deep knowledge of the government and the court of that time. Moreover, there are historical indications that Queen Elizabeth III appreciated theater and had close relationships with many of the leading writers and artists of the time, including Shakespeare. Personally, I don't believe in this theory, and I haven't found any evidence to support this idea either. If you agree with me, please leave a like on this video, so I know I'm not alone. Besides, Your participation helps the channel grow and reach more people. Despite several authors and books supporting the idea that William Shakespeare could not have written all his works, the majority of scholars and experts believe that the works are truly his. Shakespeare's works are recorded in various historical documents of the time, including the records of the theater company he worked for, as well as letters and diaries of other personalities of the time who mention the writer and his plays. Furthermore, Shakespeare's biography provides some clues about his upbringing and education, indicating that he had a proper education for the time and had contact with various books and literary works. Shakespeare was a master at creating new words and expressions, many of which are still used today. His contribution to the development of the English language is enormous, and his influence can be felt in many other fields, such as philosophy and politics. His influence is not limited to literature and theater alone. It is also felt in other areas of culture. Numerous Shakespeare plays have been adapted for film and television, with some of them becoming true classics like Franco Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet, 1968, and Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, 1996. In the description of my videos, I always provide links to materials that can be useful for enhancing the knowledge of my viewers. If that's the case for you, check out my suggestions right below. Despite all the evidence pointing to Shakespeare's authorship of his works, conspiracy theories still persist and are a source of discussion and controversy among scholars and literature enthusiasts. The discussion surrounding Shakespeare's life and work remains open, with many unanswered questions. But perhaps that is the beauty of Shakespeare's work, as it continues to captivate and intrigue future generations with its ambiguity and richness of meaning. Another writer who revolutionized the science fiction genre was Isaac Asimov, and in the video that just appeared on your screen, I'm going to show you 5 fascinating things you didn't know about Isaac Asimov. If you've never heard of him, I recommend you watch and be enchanted by this brilliant figure of our time. Thank you so much for making it this far, and I'll see you in the next video.